Have you ever wondered why some people, when we first meet them, seem to love us while others seem to hate us? Some people think that whether or not someone likes us is really just a matter of rolling the dice and hoping for the best. But what if you could positively influence the dice? And what if you had the power to make other people literally crave your presence or crave to be around you? Most people, when things don't go our way, we end up blaming it all on chance. And something that we tell ourselves is that they just didn't like us and it is what it is. But what if it isn't? And what if some subtle action that we did moments before meeting somebody was actually the true cause of them not liking us and not just something like fate? What so many people don't realize is that as humans, we are influenced far more easily than we think. And making other people, regardless of who it is, crave your presence is not, in fact, all up to chance. And other people can be influenced in certain ways to make this happen. A famous study was done a long time ago involving a dog and a bell. And it all started with a man noticing that his dog would salivate every time that he anticipated being fed a piece of bacon. And after noticing this, the man started ringing a bell every time that he would give the dog bacon. And the purpose of this was to link bacon to the ringing of the bell within the dog's mind. And after doing this long enough, it got to a point where the man was able to ring the bell and make the dog salivate as if he was about to be given bacon, even when there was no bacon present. So in other words, the dog was subtly influenced to associate bacon with the ringing of a bell. What if other people were the dog and you could become the bell? What people don't realize is that these are all emotions. Somebody liking you or not is nothing more than feelings or emotions that that person has towards you. Attraction, or what you would call attractiveness, works in the same way. These are all emotions, and they can be triggered with subtle influencing skills that 99% of people either don't have or don't understand. Now, to make other people crave your presence, all that you have to do is press the right psychological buttons. But these buttons, in most cases, are so small that most people miss them. Imagine you walk into a high-end restaurant to eat, and right after you sit down, you see a little cockroach run across the table. In the grand scheme of things, this seems like such a tiny little detail. Yet despite it being so small, it is so incredibly powerful that it'll most likely cause you to leave and eat somewhere else. And it's the same thing for the little details or the little psychological buttons that we press around people all the time without even knowing it, that causes them to either be drawn to us or want to run away from us. Think back to a time when you asked your parents for something and they said no. Now, what was their mood like when you asked them this question? When we were younger, something that we intuitively learned, or at least something that I learned, was that I was far more likely to get something that I wanted if I chose to ask my parents when they were in a good mood. If I asked for a new video game and they were in a good mood, I knew I had a far better chance of getting exactly what I wanted. And getting other people to crave your presence is based on this same concept. And every second that we're around other people, whether we realize it or not, like the dog and the bell, we are unknowingly doing things that make people either want to be around us or want to run away from us. So if we're doing these things anyway, why not make sure that we're having the right effect rather than the wrong one? So the key to getting other people to crave your presence is to get them to associate you with positive feelings and emotions. I was laying in bed watching The Late Show the other night when I realized something that was pretty incredible. Every single time that a comedian would walk out onto the stage during the show, I would immediately stop whatever I was doing to watch it. And I had absolutely no idea why. And some of the comedians that come out don't really even make me laugh, yet I continue to have a positive expectation for every single comedian that comes out on the show every single time. And the reason why I drop everything that I'm doing to watch every single time is because a link has been created in my mind between the comedian and positive emotions such as laughter. And I know that most likely I am going to laugh when I watch them, and that makes me feel good. And even just the anticipation of feeling good makes me feel good. And that's a positive emotion. But the crazy part is that even after several instances where the comedians came out and they did not make me laugh, I still drop everything I'm doing every time they come out as if they had made me laugh and feel good every single time, even though they haven't. And the more other people subconsciously associate you with a positive mood or emotion, the more they will crave your presence and want to be around you. And this also works in reverse too. Think about this. Imagine a guy who is super shy and unconfident and never talks around other people. And he's just doing his thing and he can't figure out why people don't seem to like him or want to be around him. Not realizing that awkward silence makes most people feel anxious and uncomfortable, which are negative emotions and negatively affect our mood. So it doesn't take long for people to associate this guy with negative emotions and mood, and while he is just sitting there with no idea why people don't like him, the real reason, as simple as it is the subtle behavior of not talking at all when around other people. So what you guys want to know is how. How or what can you do to link yourself to positive emotions in other people's minds that will make them crave your presence or crave being around you? And the answer is this. One of the most effective ways by far has to do with our memories. Studies show time and time again that our mood, or whether we feel good or bad at any given moment, is highly linked to our memories. So when we're thinking of bad memories, our mood goes down, and when we think of good memories, our mood goes up. A long time ago, there was this girl that I knew, and a lot of times when we were talking, she seemed like she just couldn't care less about what I was saying and didn't want to talk very much. And then other times, she seemed like she got into some sort of mood and she wanted to talk so much that there was absolutely no way to get her to stop talking. And it always seemed like she got into this super positive mood when I mentioned something about her past that she had positive memories about. And at the time, I had no idea what was happening, so I just went with it because it's great whenever two people are in a great mood and having fun together. What was happening was that I was unknowingly or unconsciously causing her to bring up memories from her past that are associated with very positive emotions. And the more that I did this, the more her mood went up and the better the time that we had. Imagine one of your best memories, or one of the times in your life when you felt completely on top of the world. And now imagine in that memory there was a specific song playing. So that song became linked to that memory. So 10 years later, you're driving down the road and that song comes on. And then out of nowhere, you suddenly slide into a great mood and you start to feel amazing. This is an example of a subtle cue and how powerful it could be for influencing our mood or other people's mood without anybody even realizing it. Things like this happen to us all the time, and the average person has no idea why they suddenly feel really good when a simple song comes on the radio. Lots of people have good memories and emotions linked to eating ice cream. So whenever they're feeling bad, they eat ice cream and it makes them feel good. And they don't really understand the exact reason why it makes them feel better, but it just does. The most likable and most charismatic men in the world are pros, maybe without even realizing it, at associating themselves with positive emotions such as laughter in other people's minds. Now, we all look forward to hanging out with that guy who is super funny because laughter feels good and he always makes us laugh when we're around him, so we have associated those positive emotions with him. And like the bell and the dog, the funny guy has effectively become the bell and we have become the salivating dog. So to make anyone crave our presence, we have to do things around them that link ourselves to positive emotions. And the easiest way to do this is to put them in a good mood whenever we are around them. Now, some people do this well with laughter, but there are many different ways to do it. One of the easiest ways by far to put somebody else in a good mood and cause them to associate those positive emotions with us is to get them to recall good memories that they have that make them feel good. And this is so much easier to do than you might think. Imagine a girl that you like is always posting pictures on Facebook of her snowboarding on the mountain. You can tell that it's obviously one of her favorite things to do or her favorite hobby. Now, if she's in a bad mood, getting her feeling good could be as simple as asking her about her latest snowboarding trip and how exactly that went. Now, if Bob is really into cars and has many good memories linked to fast cars, then you could simply talk to Bob about fast cars and that will probably make him feel good. And the better you know someone, the easier it is to use memories to get them into a good mood. So if you just met someone who you don't know much about yet and you want to get them to crave your presence, all that you really have to do is make them feel good somehow when they are around you. And it might sound like common sense, but common sense really isn't so common. But something that's even more important than making somebody feel good around you is paying attention to the things that you're doing around them that might make them feel bad or put them in a bad mood, such as being too quiet or talking about weird things. Just as another example, if you look at any guy who is extremely good with girls, other men would say that he's got game, right? But all that really means is that this guy really knows how to talk to girls in a way that makes their mood and attraction for him go way up to an incredibly high level. And all he's using to do this are his simple words and body language. And that's all that's really happening. The power of association or linking yourself in someone's head to positive emotions can absolutely make that person crave your presence or want to be around you. It's just like the ringing bell and the dog. So whenever you're about to be around somebody, you have to imagine that you're the ringing bell and they're the dog, however weird that might sound. And a lot of people tend to experience life through the lens of emotion far more than others, and these people are even more easily influenced by how you make them feel than the average person, which gives you the ability to be even more likable and even more desirable from that person's perspective. And with that said, until next time, thanks for watching.